What's up, Des Moines? How you doing? This is BJ. You're listening to the Edge 88 KDPS. Going to be talking some sports. We're going to go over the Iowa football game from last week, talk a little bit about the meltdown that happened in Minnesota. We're going to go over the Cleveland Cavaliers-Miami Heat game that happened tonight. This was the first time that LeBron James returned to Cleveland since leaving the Cavaliers this summer, and we'll talk a little bit about the fans' reaction to him during that game and the results. So stick around. This is the Edge 88 KDPS. What's up, Des Moines? You heard Kid Cudi here on the Edge 88. Right now, talk a little bit about Iowa Hawkeyes football and what happened to them last week when they faced Minnesota, I apologize. And this seems to be a consistent theme with Iowa. Last year, they won several very close games, and people forget this is a team that went to the Orange Bowl last year, but they very easily could not even have been bowl eligible. 5 games they won on the very last possession of the game, so you're talking about a team that could have been 6-5, 6-6 last year. Instead, they get a few lucky breaks and ends up going to the Orange Bowl and winning it. So naturally, people had a lot of high expectations of this team coming into this year. With all the talented receivers returning, you had Rick Stanzi coming back, who is expected to make a run at the Heisman. Everybody knows he worked real hard in the offseason to limit his mistake-making and make better decisions. So everybody thought coming into this season, Iowa was a top 5 team in everybody's mind. So one of two things happened, and that's either we all had way too high expectations or Iowa, or they simply dropped the ball. Looking at a couple of their games that I found interesting was they were able to roll Michigan State, and then they need a drop pass against Indiana in the end zone just to win that game against a very poor Indiana team. So it always seems as if Iowa's always going to play to the team they're playing talent level, and they're never going to really truly have their own identity, because it seems that no matter who the team is, that's going to be the level of their play for that day. Minnesota's an absolutely awful team, had 2 wins going into that football. What's up, how you doing, Des Moines? This is BJ hanging out here at Edge 88 KDPS. Talked a little bit earlier about the infamous LeBron James returning to Cleveland for the first time since he kind of flaked out this summer, and wanted to talk a little bit about the reaction from the fans. First, I'd like to say this: I've never been a huge LeBron James guy. I think he's cocky, he's arrogant. I don't think he's a finisher. I don't think he has the mentality to win championships. But I kind of feel bad for the guy as far as the Cleveland thing goes. This guy made a lot of money for a lot of people in Cleveland, including the owner, who's done everything but hang this guy on the cross since he left. So LeBron James has made over $100 million for him. You have to consider the fact all these local businesses and stuff that benefited off him being there for so many years is very beneficial to everybody in the city of Cleveland, because it's not a city with a whole lot going on. It's been a depressing sports town for a very long time. They haven't won a championship in I don't have the exact number, but what I can tell you is it's one of the longest runs for any city with as many sports teams as Cleveland has. So they haven't won a championship in a very long time. Weren't competitive at all before LeBron James got there. He came, turned things around, and during the last 4 years, the Cleveland Cavaliers won the second most games in the entire NBA during that span. So he certainly turned that franchise around and did a lot for everybody in Cleveland. So when it came time for him to make his decision and leave town, I think he handled it the wrong way. First of all, I think he could have been more personal about it, spoke with the owner personally instead of setting up an hour-long segment. But I think the way the fans took it, I think it's time to let it go. The guy, he did a lot for your city, and he wanted to move on with his life. I think you should be thankful for the time that he gave you there in Cleveland. He built your basketball team back up to a respectable level when it was the joke of the league before he got there, and he had some success there. So I think people should, at this point, just respect what his decision is and let the guy move on with his life. Now, the way they handled things tonight, I wouldn't call it unclassy. They're angry fans. They were yelling at him, a lot of banter. There were signs, T-shirts. I saw a lot of signs that said Quitness, referencing LeBron's Witness Nike campaign and things of that nature. So the people of Cleveland are not over this yet. Every time the guy touched the ball, there were boos just erupted from everywhere. So the people of Cleveland did not perceive him well, but didn't throw anything at him, didn't get unruly. Nobody tried to fight or anything like that. A lot of heightened security tonight, so I think it went off without a hitch for the most part. The only bad thing for them is they just got absolutely murdered. They got beat by more than 30 points by the Miami Heat tonight, who haven't been that good themselves and are only advancing to a 12-8 record. But tonight they absolutely own the Cavaliers. So, you know, maybe you should focus a little bit more on your own basketball team instead of worrying about so much what LeBron James is doing, because the Cavaliers are looking like they're about to take a nasty skid towards the bottom of the NBA. So something to keep in mind there, looking into the future. And LeBron, on the other hand, had a great night tonight. He had 38 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Absolutely tremendous tonight. It was his season high in scoring, and like I said, they got a huge victory. So, Cleveland fans, it's time to let it go. Let the guy move on with his life. You know, we've all made decisions based on what's best for us in our lives, and I think if you were in his situation, you might have made that same type of decision. So let the guy breathe, let him go, and that's my thoughts on that. When I come back, I'm going to give you away an excellent prize, so stick around. This is The Edge, 88 KDPS. All right, I'm going to take caller number 1 right now to 263-2985. Give me a call, and I'm going to give you 1 free quarter-pound cheeseburger, a large fry, medium soft drink from our friends over at Bebop's, with locations in Ankeny, Urbandale, Altoona, and Des Moines. Bebop's is better than good. Give me a call right now, 263-2985, and you'll win that. What's up, Des Moines? It's BJ hanging out at the Edge 88 Studios. We just gave Patty a coupon for a delicious quarter-pound cheeseburger and fry from Bebop's. We got her hooked up, and she's pretty pumped. Had a long shift at the hospital, so I'm glad we could help her out tonight and give her a coupon for some Bebop's. Right now, I'm going to give you my dope of the week. We always do around this time. Tell you about somebody who did something really stupid in sports this week and deserves an award for being a knucklehead. And that man of this week is James Harrison of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, if you remember about a month ago, the league made a big fuss about the new no helmet-to-helmet rules and a lot stricter enforcements as far as legal hits and illegal hits. They sent out videos to every team which basically diagrammed what a legal hit looks like, what an illegal hit looks like. And during that video, you'll see James Harrison in about 5 of those clips making what they deem to be illegal hits. So you think this guy would clean up his act a little bit. He's been fined several times this season, including once already after the rule change. So you think this guy's bank account's got to be taking a pretty good hit. But that has not stopped James yet, and that is why he is my dope of the week. This guy went out and got himself his 3rd fine since these new rules have been put into place. He's now up to $250,000 in fines in the last month and a half. Now, James, that's more than 99% of America makes in a year, and you got that set aside so you can make illegal hits on people. I got news, and that is that the NFL is not going to change their rules for you. James bullies around a lot of guys on the field, but that's not going to work with the league. You're going to have to change your approach, dude, or you're going to be running out of money by the time the year is over. You can't continue to go out there and stick your helmet into guys' chests. They don't play the game like they did in 1950, and there are rules, and that's meant to protect the players. So if you can't follow the rules, then you shouldn't be on the football field. Somebody's not only going to get hurt, this guy's going to end up bankrupt because every single week he seems to make an illegal hit. You know, play the game clean. You're still allowed to hit guys hard, but you don't have to stick your helmet into people, and that's what James continues to do on a week-to-week basis. So that makes James my dope of the week. You know, got to make better decisions than that. You got to be more savvy about what you're doing on the football field, and you would think his coach, Mike Tomlin, would have made some adjustments with him by now, but he hasn't. He hasn't come out and said that James needs to change the way he does things, so coach seems to be fine with it. Hopefully it doesn't lead to a suspension, because that's really going to hurt them in the long run if it does. So, James, work on your hitting, buddy. You know, you need to try to hit somebody a little bit cleaner so you can keep your house, partner. I'm going to come back with a weather report for you. Stick around. This is The Edge, 88 KDPS. Hey, welcome back. That was Katy Perry here on The Edge talking about kissing girls or something like that. Is it? not real appropriate for a girl I see on the Disney Channel and stuff all the time, but guess do what you gotta do, and I guess she's into kissing girls, so we'll leave that alone. I'm going to send you out with a weather report here, let you know what your weekend's going to look like weather-wise. Right now it's currently 19 degrees and declining, so get out the ice scrapers. You're going to need them tomorrow morning. Expected to drop down to 7 degrees tonight, so one of the coldest nights of the year for us so far. Maybe some flurries. Tomorrow it's going to snow, and 50% chance of snow, it says. High of 34 degrees, so maybe melt some of that away before it gets nasty out on the roads. Low of 24 degrees for your overnight, and Saturday it's going to be high of 27 degrees, mostly cloudy, with a low of 12 degrees. And finally for Sunday you're going to have more of the same, high of 22 degrees and a low of 6 degrees Fahrenheit, partly cloudy. And it's not just cold here, so don't feel bad, Iowa people. Just got back from Texas, San Antonio, deep south, and it was in the 30s and 40s. One of the days I was up there, went to the Texas A&M game, and on that night, we're talking deep southern America, and it dropped from 80 degrees to 40 degrees just like that, so it's cold all around right now. I know the western side of the nation's also feeling it a little bit, so don't feel so bad, Iowa people. It's chilly everywhere. Remember, keep your coats, keep a blanket in your car, be ready for this nasty winter weather because it's coming. Thanks everybody for listening tonight. Keep it tuned. I'm here every weekend, or every week, next Thursday, 10 o'clock p.m. I want to thank everybody again for listening. This is the Edge 88 KDPS. What's up, Des Moines? Welcome to the Thursday Night Sports Report. I am your host. My name is BJ. I'm going to be here from 10 to midnight tonight. We'll be listening to some hip-hop music. We're going to talk some sports. A lot of stuff going on right now. NBA season's underway. A big week in the NFL last week. Iowa State had a huge win, and Iowa with an upsetting loss. We'll go over that. Plus talk a little bit about UFC 121 and the defeat of heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar. Plus I'll have a prize to give away. All that and a whole lot more here on the Edge 88.1 KDPS. Stick with us. Right, that was Jeremiah on Des Moines' True Shuffle Station, Edge 88 KDPS. Right now we'll do what we always do about this time. We're going to talk a little bit about Iowa and Iowa State football, go over their games from last weekend, and a look at their upcoming opponents for Saturday. Usually start out by talking Iowa because that's the majority team in this state. It seems like we got a lot more Hawkeye fans out there, but we got to give the Clones a little respect tonight. We're going to kick it off by talking a little Iowa State Cyclone football, and they had probably their biggest victory in school history last Saturday over the Texas Longhorns in Austin. By all accounts, even in the Dan McCarney era when the Iowa State had some success, they never had a victory over the Texas Longhorns. It's a team that they've not been able to beat in the past, similar to Oklahoma, and it's a big stepping stone for Iowa State to be able to beat a team like that and to go down to Texas when they're recruiting some of their players, which they get a lot of their players from Texas. So when they can sit down in the living room with these kids and talk about their victories over Texas, it's going to play a huge role in Iowa State recruiting because they're the have-nots right now. They don't have the best players, and as they cover, nobody on Iowa State's team was recruited by Texas, and that's got to be a real slap in the face to them that a team like that was able to come into their house and really destroy their season after they had a big victory over Nebraska the week before, and Iowa State had been outscored 115-35 in their previous two games. So really going into the game, everybody had thought that this was one that the Longhorns had in the bag, but Paul Rhodes always has the Cyclones ready to play, and they're always going to be a force to be reckoned with. If you're not ready to play them, they're going to come out and hit you in the mouth, and that's what we saw on Saturday. If you remember last week, I talked about the key for Iowa State would be to score early points, and they would be able to maintain that lead because Texas's offense has been so lackluster all season, and that's exactly what they did. They went out and they got on the board early and put up some early points. Texas was never able to overcome that. They had a couple turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and Iowa State didn't turn the ball over. They had an efficient running game. Alexander Robinson had rushed for 150 yards and really controlled the ball for Iowa State most of the game and kept the game clock and possession arrow in their favor, and that was a huge key for them. When you're playing a team like Texas, anytime you can keep them off the field and keep your own offense on the field is going to be beneficial for a team like Iowa State. So congratulations to them. That's absolutely a huge victory, and they're really reeling in Austin right now after that one. So the question now becomes, how long is Paul Rhoads going to remain around in Iowa State? Because you got to think at the end of the season there's going to be some teams looking to recruit him with what he's been able to do with this team, with a victory in Lincoln last year and then going to Austin and beating the Longhorns. And the Cyclones are 2 games away from bowl eligibility, and this will be the first time they've gone back-to-back bowls since the 90s. So Paul Rhoads has really done a great job with them up there. This Saturday they'll face Kansas at 8 p.m. at Jack Trice Stadium. The game will not be on television, so anyone doing their trick-or-treating, you want to wrap it up early and head up to Jack Trice because you will not be able to catch that one on the TV. I look for Iowa State to win this game. Really running the same kind of offense they ran against Texas. They're going to have a ball control offense. They're not going to turn the ball over. I think they're going to have a lot of confidence after that win last week. And you take into account all the weaknesses Kansas has right now, and they've been really everybody's whipping boy. So I think Iowa State gets another win and another step closer to bowl eligibility. It's not the same story for the Hawkeyes last week. A lot of disappointed people after their heartbreaking 1-point loss to Wisconsin in the last minute. There was a fake punt conversion on 4th down, followed by an absolutely punishing running attack from Wisconsin, and they just drove the ball down the field in that last 2 minutes and punched it in the end zone. Iowa, I would say, was the better team, but they just were outplayed and outcoached on this day. I don't understand why they weren't ready for that fake punt. Anyone who watched the game, they had 2 guys rushing the punter, and everybody else was running back. Really, they didn't even need to field that ball. They could have let it bounce wherever. They just needed to get the ball back with the lead. So that was a huge error. And then on the following drive, after Wisconsin scored and they take the ball down the field, and clock management errors, and it's really unlike Kirk Ferentz because he's regarded as one of the best coaches in college football, and he doesn't really make errors like that. So it was really surprising to see the way they fumbled around with the clock in the last minute and to end the game with a shuffle play like they did. Really uncharacteristic of Iowa football. I look for them to bounce back this weekend against Michigan State at Kinnick, put them back in contention for the Big Ten title. Michigan State, to this point, has been a real team of destiny, very similar to the Hawks last year. They had to overcome a lot of obstacles. Their coach had a heart attack that's been well documented early in the season. That's been something they've had to overcome. An overtime win against Notre Dame, a close one last weekend. So just like Iowa from last year, they've really had to fight and scratch to remain undefeated at this point, and I think their luck runs out this weekend. I think the Hawkeyes are going to be looking to bounce back big after that Wisconsin loss and throw their hat back in the ring for that Big Ten title. So Iowa opens the game 6-point favorites at Kinnick Stadium this weekend, and I look for them to walk away with the victory. I'm going to give you a little tunes right now. I'm going to play the game here on Edge 88.1 KDPS. When we come back, talk a little bit about opening NBA and the new look Heat with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. So we'll go over that when we come back. Stick around. Edge 88 KDPS. What's up, Des Moines? How you doing? You're listening to The Edge. It's about 10:55 here on a Thursday night. My name is BJ. Thank you for joining me tonight. Right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about NBA as the season kicked off on Tuesday, and I'm just going to give you a couple of the storylines that I caught from opening week of basketball. First things first is the new look Miami Heat team that everybody so anxiously awaited to perform for the entire offseason. They had ceremonies in Miami and all around the country where Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James basically flaunted themselves for the entire sports world to see throughout the summer. So Tuesday was time to see if this big move was going to pay off. And so far in the season, it did not, though they did win last night. They opened the season with a loss to the defending Eastern Conference champion Boston Celtics in a pretty, I would say, defensive game for the most part. Final score was 88-83 for Boston. So For the most part, a low-scoring game, not the fireworks we expected on opening night. Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade were mostly cold. They hit under 50% of their shots. LeBron came to play. He scored 31, which is the most points any player has scored in a debut for a new team in NBA history. So LeBron was impressive opening night, and the other big two were not. And it just comes back to the fact that you cannot build a winning team on 2 or 3 guys. It takes even more than 5. You got to have guys that can come off your bench and give you points, and it really takes a complete team effort. You look at a team like the San Antonio Spurs, and they've had some good players for a long time. They've never had a big three, so to speak, and they really do it with their bench play and having an overall team chemistry where everybody plays a role on the team. The players know their role on the team, and they give you exactly that. So unless some people step up for this Heat team, they're really shallow on their bench. They don't have really anything outside of those 3 guys. They acquired Mike Miller in the offseason, but he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with an injury. So unless these 3 guys can account for 85 to 90% of their scoring, I don't see them having enough depth to be what everybody thinks they're going to be. I would put them in the conversation with a team that's certainly in contention for an NBA title, but with the power shifts going on right now, what you see is a lot of players just want to go to teams with other good players to win rings. So it's the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. Right now you have Carmelo Anthony, who's looking to head to the Bulls, and that's going to add to the what they got going right now with Derrick Rose and Carlos Boozer. So teams are really starting to move to this 3 big player type scenario, and then kind of having a weaker bench. But for other small market teams, like the Denver Nuggets, who are going to have to get rid of Carmelo, it's really too bad because, like we saw with the Cavaliers, when you lose a player like LeBron James or Carmelo Anthony, it really affects the entire city. And with LeBron, we saw even more than that it affected the entire city's economy. If you saw, they did a special on ESPN 360. They showed how a lot of bars and stuff were going to be losing hundreds and thousands of dollars in parking places and all the businesses in the immediate Cleveland downtown area where people were going to the Cavaliers games to see LeBron play for the most part. It really devalued that franchise a tremendous amount and took a hit on the local economy. So losing guys like that on your team it's really a bad thing for the city as a whole. You feel pretty good about the Cavaliers because they were only picked to win 30 games this year by Vegas, and they go out in their opening night and defeat the Celtics, who had just beat the Heat the night before. So they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. And then we saw the Nets, who started out 0-18 last season, get a big win on opening night. So some teams that were slumping or that were projected not to do so well this year are off to a better start than predicted. Other big stories, Blake Griffin, rookie out of Oklahoma, made his debut last night. He was the first overall pick in 2009, but was out the entire season with a torn ACL. So he made his debut last night and was very impressive and looked nice. Rookie John Wall makes his NBA debut for the Wizards tonight. I really think it's going to be the year of the rookie. There are so many good players that came into the league this year. You got Evan Turner out of Ohio State, and the list goes on. So really looking for some explosive rookies to make a name for themselves this year in the NBA. Should be a very interesting season. The Lakers also opened the season with a big win over the Rockets on the same night that they received their rings for winning the championship last year. So they're also off to a good start. And really, I only see 3 teams that could compete for the ring this year, and that's Boston, the Lakers, and the Heat. Not real impressed with the Heat right now, but I really think they're going to end up making a move to bring in some more depth, and that's really going to make them stronger and make them more of a championship contender in the long run. Boston and the Lakers, been there 2 seasons in a row. They split one apiece, so these teams know how to get to the NBA championship, and I think they're poised to do it again. Especially Boston made a huge pickup getting Shaquille O'Neal and Jermaine O'Neal added to that team. That gives them a lot of depth and size down low. And then you had the Lakers, who picked up Steve Blake from the Portland Trail Blazers, and he's an excellent guard who gives them a three-point look that they haven't had in a while. and a lot of fireworks off their bench. So those are the three teams that I think are going to be your big powerhouses in the NBA this season. So it should be an interesting season. We'll have to see how it plays out. Kick it back to the tunes. When we come back, we're going to recap UFC 121 and the defeat of heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar. So don't go away. We'll go over that when we come back. Stick around. This is The Edge, 88.1 KDPS. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for hanging out. 11:30 here on Thursday night. Got about half an hour left in our show tonight. And right now we're going to talk a little bit about UFC 121, that big fight between Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez, which was supposed to be the heavyweight title fight of a lifetime that never turned out to be, because Brock came out and got dominated. Anyone who saw the fight, it was a huge surprise for a lot of people, including myself. I thought Brock's size and his wrestling ability were going to be the big difference in this match. I thought he would come out the way he did, which was strong. He looked to attack early, he looked for takedowns, and he succeeded early. He got to take 2 takedowns early in the first round, but he just couldn't hold Cain Velasquez down, who just seemed to pop right back up every time Brock took him down. And he got frustrated early, and it really showed. I really always thought that the best MMA guys were pure wrestlers, and I thought that athletes really could end up taking over the sport, like we're seeing with GSP and George St. Pierre, and then Brock Lesnar, who come from strong wrestling backgrounds, and GSP comes from a strong karate background, but really more of athletes than your traditional MMA fighters. I really thought this was the way the sport was heading, that it was really going to be the guys with more athletic ability dominating the sport in the future, but that's not the way it's turning out right now. Brock really was the more athletic, bigger, more physical, stronger guy, and I didn't think there was anyone who could go in there and really prevent him from putting his body mass on them. What I mean by that is Brock has a tendency he really leans people up against the cage and really forces you to carry his body weight, which I thought would ultimately lead to a victory over Velasquez, because he had so much body weight over him. But the biggest thing between being an athlete and a fighter is that fighters, when they get hit, they come out stronger and they look to do damage of their own. And what we saw with Brock as an athlete, when he got hit, he kind of cowered and he didn't look to fight anymore. Anyone who watched that fight, I couldn't tell if he was exhausted or he just didn't want to fight anymore. He took a couple hits to the face, he tumbled, he fell to the ground, and really just curled up, really defenseless, and didn't look like he belonged there at all. So it didn't look like a true fighter that night at all, and I was really disappointed to see that, because, like I said, I thought Brock and guys like him were the real future of the sport. I didn't see anybody beating this guy for a really long time, and I'm a fan of his. I think Brock Lesnar brings a lot to the sport and has generated a lot of new fans for the UFC and MMA as a whole, because he's such a showman. He brings so much to the table with his size and power. He's an absolute freak of nature. So for him to come back, he's going to have to learn how to take a punch, because Cain Velasquez, especially guys in the heavyweight, they hit like Mack trucks, and if you can't take that, you're not going to last very long. We saw Brock in his last fight against Shane Carwin kind of had similar results, though he was able to escape that one. Once he gets hit, he doesn't take it like a guy that big that you would think should, and that was a really big disappointment for me. Other fights of that night, you had Jake Shields that made his UFC debut, and a lot of people think he's going to be the one to challenge George St. Pierre for his belt. He was pretty impressive against Martin Kampmann. There towards the third round, I don't know if he was winded or what, but Kampmann had a little bit of control over him on the ground, which was surprising to me, because Jake Shields is a world-class jiu-jitsu guy, and we saw him dominate Dan Henderson at the last Strikeforce event, who's a much better wrestler than the opponent that he faced last Saturday in Martin Kampmann. So I was a little bit shocked to see that. He was still pretty impressive and got a victory, and he'll most likely get his title shot after Josh Koscheck. So look for him to be an up-and-coming name in the UFC that could challenge George St. Pierre for his belt. Those were the storylines from the night. It was supposed to be one of the biggest cards in UFC history, but like I said, that heavyweight bout was a real disappointment for a lot of people, just because they expected a lot more of a battle out of both opponents, and Kane came to fight and really put it to Brock, but like I said, once Brock got hit, he just didn't look like he wanted to be there anymore. So if he's going to look to rebound and get his belt back, his biggest thing, he needs to just go into a gym and have somebody punch him for like several hours until he gets used to it or something, because at this point in his career, it's not something that looks like can be easily dealt with by Brock Lesnar. So that was the big event for UFC 121. Sadly a disappointment, but tons of big fights scheduled for this upcoming year, so it should be a good year for MMA and the UFC, so I look forward to that. Right now, as I promised you, I'm going to do a little segment I like to call Dope of the Week. This week with some real literal meaning to it. This week's athlete is former Buccaneers tight end Jeremy Stevens, who was arrested on early Sunday morning, right before, several hours before the Buccaneers game, with pounds of marijuana in his vehicle. He was arrested, charged with possession with intent to sell. He was immediately released from the Buccaneers, and this guy's been in the NFL for a long time. I'm talking about nearly 10 years. Jeremy Stevens has been playing NFL football, and for a guy like that to go off early Sunday morning and get busted with some dope makes him my dope. So there you go, man. I don't know what's with these NFL guys thinking they need to sell drugs and do dog fights and all this other crap to make money. You don't need it. Stick to the field, do your stuff on the field, and the rest will take care of itself. You make more than any other profession in the entire world. There's really no excuse for that. I mean, there's no excuse anytime, but when you're a guy who makes that much money, I have no real understanding for why you would need to sell dope just to get by, man. You've been living off an NFL salary for years, so you cannot be at a struggle for money. I don't know what is to gain from doing this, and he's not the first NFL guy to get busted for this. If you remember, Nate Newton from the old Dallas Cowboys got busted with like pounds and pounds of cocaine in his car, and I think he ended up actually doing a year or two in prison. So this isn't an uncommon thing, though I don't know why it is, because these guys make plenty enough money to support themselves and their family. But good news, Jeremy Stevens, you'll have plenty of time to sell dope now because you don't have a job anymore, and just put yourself out of the league that you've been in for 10 years, and I guarantee you ain't going to make the money selling your drugs that you made playing in the NFL. So at least you'll have plenty of time to do that, my friend. So there you are, Jeremy Stevens. Congratulations. You no longer have a job, but you are my dope of the week here on the Edge 88 KDPS. Stick around. I got some weather for you before we kick out here tonight. All right, that was Bruno Mars here on the Edge 88, getting ready to sign off here for the night. I want to thank you, everybody, for listening. I do this every Thursday from 10 to midnight. We talk sports, we listen to hip-hop, I take requests, and we talk about pretty much anything else you want to talk about. So I want to thank you guys for listening, and remember to stay tuned every Thursday night from 10 to midnight to hear the show. Before we sign off tonight, I got a quick weather forecast for you. Currently in Des Moines, it is 27 degrees and cloudy, a little bit of wind, but not as bad as it was yesterday, where I almost got blown over in the parking lot. So at least we got that going for us. One moment here while I load the rest of your forecast for the week. For Saturday, it's going to be sunny and 60 degrees outside, mostly clear, no rain. Sun should be out all day, and the wind at a minimum. Sunday, the same thing, 60 and sunny. So the next 3 days is going to be in the 60s with sun, very little chance of rain. So get out there and enjoy the rest of these nice days. I know we say it every week, and I figured our luck would have ran out by now, but still a couple good days left. Get out there and enjoy them. We got the Clones homecoming this weekend in Ames. Iowa, like I said, big game at Kinnick against number 5 Michigan State, so head up there and see that. Enjoy the rest of the few nice days we got left, because they are going to be few and far between from here on out. That is your weather forecast. My name is BJ, and I thank you again for joining me. We'll see you next Thursday here on the Edge 88 KDPS. Welcome to Des Moines Shuffle Station. You're listening to Brad and Amanda here on the Edge, 88 KDPS. Amanda, it was a big game last night. Did you watch the Super Bowl at all?
I did. I mainly just the commercials, though. I don't know. My favorite commercial was the Doritos commercial with the pug that was running for the chip, and he, plowed the door over.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, too. Some of the other Doritos commercials I thought were kind of bizarre, though.
Yeah, they definitely were. I guess that's what happens when people make the commercials and submit them to you. I don't know. What was your favorite one?
I kind of like that Chevy commercial with they were in the retirement home or something, and it was a bunch of older people, and they kept having a miscommunication about what the commercial was trying to say. And
that does not surprise me.
That was one of my favorite ones. I also like the other Chevy one they had with Eminem. That was pretty solid also. So
Chevy spent a lot of money this year. They had lots of ads.
They did. Overall, I thought Chevy had the best commercials.
Yeah, the Bud Light ads, all of those, they kind of Bud Light, they all fell flat for me. There wasn't much there, but usually those are pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't think they were as good as normal, but overall there were a couple good ads that I thought were pretty funny, but compared to last year's, I didn't think they were much to talk about.
We are going to take it back to the music. Up next, we have What's My Name by Rihanna and Drake.
Des Moines Shuffle Station, Edge 88.1 KDPS, and weather's a little bit cold outside today. It's going to be steady throughout the week. It's going to get colder into Wednesday, but then around Thursday and Friday it's going to be a little bit warmer. So some cool weekend events for you that you can get out and do while the weather gets nicer this weekend. Almost 40 degrees is the Ankeny Dairy Queen's doing something pretty cool. They're sponsoring a Meals from the Heartland event, and that's going to take place this Saturday morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Ankeny High School. And what they're going to do is package meals for hurricane victims. After that, they're going to head over to the Dairy Queen. They're going to donate $1 to the Meals from the Heartland for every blizzard they sell. And they'll also have a special open house, free meal giveaways, and you can register for all kinds of cool prizes. They're going to even give away a cool trip to Alaska. So get out there this Saturday. It's from 11 until 11 at 1810 South Main Street in Ankeny. They're going to help some people out that have been affected by the hurricane. They're going to sell some blizzards, donate some money, and try to help others. So try to make it out this weekend from 11 to 11 at the Ankeny Dairy Queen. You'll feel like royalty when you eat at Dairy Queen. All right, that was Turn Off the Lights by Lights Over Paris here on Des Moines Shuffle Station, Edge 88 KDPS. Now, I was reading through the paper a little bit, found a pretty interesting story from over the weekend. Apparently a man and his older brother were in a little bit of a dispute over money. Apparently had some investment problems between the two brothers. Now, I should note that these guys were, the oldest of the brothers was 73 years old, and his younger brother was 62. And the younger brother was a doctor who apparently was a little more well-off financially, and was supposed to be handling some kind of investment for his older brother. Apparently that investment did not turn out too well, and the older of the two brothers ends up gunning down his younger sibling in his own driveway and killing him. That man is currently being held in prison and being charged with murder. So really must have been some kind of crazy type of investment that he had to murder his own brother. But I guess money really is more important to family than some people, and it's times like this I'm kind of glad I'm an only child. Don't have to worry about something like that happening to me. So keep it locked here on Edge 88. We got great music, bizarre stories, and all kinds of stuff going on. Keep it locked, Des Moines Shuffle Station. That was Michael Jackson and Akon here on Des Moines Shuffle Station, Edge 88 KDPS. It's cold outside, but they got some stuff going on over at Sleepy Hollow Sports Park that'll make you just a little bit colder. This Saturday, they had their annual ice games over at Sleepy Hollow. It included all types of winter games where people participate in their underwear, bathing suits, jumping into ice baths with nothing but bikinis on, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And you got to have a lot of drinks in you to do something like that. And I saw some pictures, and these people were anything but naked, jumping into this ice water, participating in all kinds of different races, sledding events and stuff. So people in Iowa apparently more adept to this cold weather than most, because I didn't even want to go outside, and there were some people willing to go out there and bear it all and have some fun out in this winter weather. So I salute you crazy Iowans, and keep having fun out in this winter weather, make winter enjoyable, and find something to do that's fun for you, and and your family and friends or whatever. So it's good to see we got some stuff going on. Even though it's cold outside, there's still some stuff to do, and you can get out there and have a little fun over the weekend. Right now I have a song called Only Girl in the World by Rihanna here on Edge 88 KDPS.
This is Amanda, reminding you to head out to Ankeny Ford this Saturday to participate in their Shoes That Fit charity walk event. That's happening this Saturday from 9 to noon at Ankeny Ford. Participants can register for prizes, and the first 100 kids will even receive Iowa Cubs socks. So bring out the whole family to Ankeny Ford this Saturday from 9 to noon. And always remember, for a car you can afford, come to Ankeny Ford. This is Amanda with the Edge 88.1, and I'm bringing you some Hollywood gossip this afternoon. For those of you who do not know, Charlie Sheen has voluntarily checked himself back into rehab. You know what that means, everybody? Maybe he's going to turn his life around? We will just have to wait and see. As most of us know, this is not the first time that he has been there. So hopefully this time things will work out a little bit better for him and he can get his life back on track. That's all for the Hollywood gossip I have today. And we are going to be listening to Like It's Her Birthday by Good Charlotte. This is Amanda again, here to talk to you now about some interesting, weird news. We don't really hear about stuff like this too often here in Iowa. In Milwaukee this weekend, they arrested a 32-year-old man after he smashed a truckload of beer with a metal pipe. I cannot say that is a good idea. Well, he didn't get away with any beer. Other people took advantage of the fact and ran and stole beer out of the truck. The guy who actually did this, though, he was caught by the police. So while we're talking about this, he is sitting in jail thinking about his actions. That was Amanda bringing you some weird news for the evening. We are going to head back to some music.
You're listening to Des Moines Shuffle Station, Edge 88 KDPS. Right now I got a little bit of John Mayer with Free Falling, only on the Edge. Well,
that was What's My Name by Rihanna and Drake. And today Brad and I are here to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show. What did you think, Brad?
I know you said you didn't like it very much. I thought it was pretty cool. I noticed some lip syncing. I saw Usher did a little lip syncing, and Fergie's singing wasn't very well.
I wish Fergie would have lip synced.
Yeah, at least she put in an effort, better than some people who just come out there and let the background music take over for them. But I didn't think it was a terrible show. I thought they put on a good performance. Maybe the music wasn't the best. I could have done without Slash on the guitar.
Yeah, he definitely didn't seem like he was...
Didn't even really look like he was playing.
He didn't seem excited to be there like everybody else. I guess at least the Black Eyed Peas seemed like they were excited, but everything else just fell flat. There were lots of audio issues, I noticed. I don't know. I
mean, it's hard. You put together a production like that, and you know they have 15 minutes to set up or whatever, so it's pretty difficult. In comparison to past years, I was just glad to see they brought in some younger talent and didn't have the usual Rolling Stones and other 80-year-old people coming in there to play the halftime show. So I thought it was refreshing that they at least brought in some new people.
Something that could appeal to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So compared to past years, I thought it was a little bit better than most, but
wasn't as flashy as Janet Jackson, though.
Yeah, well, a little issues with that, and probably isn't going to be that flashy again. So I kick it back to the music right now. I've got some Andy Grammer with Keep Your Head Up here on Des Moines Shuffle Station, Edge 88.1 KDPS. Welcome back. You're listening to Brad and Amanda here on Edge 88.1 KDPS. Right now, Amanda's going to give us some tips on some things we as college students and everybody can do to save a little bit of money that can really add up over a lifetime. What are some of those things, Amanda?
Yeah, like if you order pizza you spend about $25 a week if you ordered it every week. So over 10 years, you'd save about $18,600. That's a lot of money. That's like tuition.
Yeah, that's crazy. And we all know
here.
college students order a lot of pizza. And it also says smoking is a big cost.
Yeah, smoking, usually it says here you spend about $35 a week, which over 30 years, this is crazy, is $222,000. That's
a pretty nice house.
That's a very nice house. I wish we had that much money.
Now it says people spend around $4 a day on coffee and donuts, and that adds up to be about $190,000. over a 30-year period. For me, it's not the coffee and donuts. It's a little thing called 5-Hour Energy.
Yeah,
and
that'll get you.
I pop one of those every day. That's about $4 a piece.
Okay.
So
they cost about the same. I know a $4 drink though at Starbucks. That's a pretty small drink anymore.
Yeah.
You can't even get like a, what are they, grande or venti or whatever their sizes are. I don't really drink coffee. So.
Yep. Well, make your own coffee, eat your breakfast at home, and you'll save a lot of money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then some of the other things they listed were manicure. You can eat your lunch at work, and that'll save you around $10 a day. It says golf. Any golfers out there, you spend about $75 a week on the golf course, and they say that over 30 years, that's about $634,000 you'll end up spending golfing. So if you can cut some of these little extra activities out, you're going to save yourself a lot of money in the long run.
We're going to take it back to the music, and this is the Edge 88.1. You're listening to Brad and Amanda.